Now we will talk about immortality. Immortality and our lovely, the most beautiful, amazing, gentle, the immortal doctor ever, Dr. William Amzallag will be on stage.
Very much for the immortality. Okay, thank you. So we're going to relax a little about business now, and I think we're going to dream a little. We are not going to do like we do all the time, because you know my speech, you know my training. Most of you have been there 2 or 3 times, and I'm not going to repeat everything. So Eileen asked me to do something different. So my training will be in 3 parts. The first one will be called delirium. You know what means delirium? It means completely hallucination. We're going to dream. So the second things will be, we're going back to Earth and talk about the key point of the product, the Genes product. And the third one will be about one product which we introduced in Milan called VidaCell. And I want you to know a lot about this new product, okay? Let's start. So, my name is William Amzallag, and I am Generation Young. I want you, each time that you start a speech, please to do like that. Take these habits to say we are Generation Young, because everybody will ask you, what means Generation Young? And young, you are in the business with them, you see? So you are in business with me, and we are now talking about what I call the immortality promise. Now, it is just a promise, not a guarantee, okay? So what about that? You know, the first thing that the scientists say that born is not a crime. Why do we have to have death penalty? Which means, why do we have to die? Now, I'm not going to go to any philosophical things. I'm going to stay strictly on the science part, please. Okay? So the first thing is, are we forced to die? Are we? Well, you know, do you know that there is in our universe people who never die? Not people, but cells who never die. You know, single cells are always living. And you have some species which live hundreds and hundreds of years. Some jellyfish who can live 1,400 years. You have a salamander. If you cut one leg, it will immediately regenerate. So things are not always the same for everybody. So has been always like that? No. 4 billion years ago, no. The cells were always living. If you ask one of the top scientists in longevity, and if you ask him, give me a definition of aging or of life, he said, we pay the price of sex by dying. We pay the price of sex. What means that? Doesn't mean that if you go to have sex too much, you will die sooner. No. It means that we have a problem. We have somatic cells and we have sexual cells, which means that we differentiate the cells for reproduction and the cells for building the body. And that is killing us. This evolution is killing us. In another word, species which are asexual, doesn't have sex, means they live all the time. They live infinite life. So, can science make us immortal? Is science able to do that? Today we are witnessing a revolution. Now, today, right now. It's the revolution of biotechnology. The biotechnology is a silent revolution because everything is hidden inside laboratory. For the moment you don't see too much, or sometimes you see one thing's going out and the rest is inside the labs. What's going on inside the labs? What you have to understand that in the 19th century, we controlled the matter at the level of 1 millimeter. In the 20th century, we controlled the matter at the micron level, which that lead to the computer, to the chips. And today, that is a revolution. But in the 21st century, we are at the nanometer level. What means that? We can see and we can manipulate molecules. We can manipulate atoms. Now, this is life. Life, it's a level of atom and molecule. And you will see the result very soon, within few years. So this is very important here. Now, what is related to longevity? Why it is related to longevity? The first thing that you have to know, that every day we are living 6 hours more. 2. Every day we are gaining 6 hours in life expectancy, but we don't know why. But this is good news that every day when you wake up, you say, okay, I have 6 hours more to live in the future. Look, you see, every 20 years we have more and more. If we go to 900, the average life was 45 years. If we go to 2020, it will be double. Means almost every 100 years we double the life expectancy. Which means that in 2100 we are supposed to live average 170 years. Average. Now this is nothing compared with what I'm going to tell you. Now, can we extend our longevity today without, on top of this bonus, what we call added value, more than 6 hours a day? Yes, today the world record is 122 years. We just find out that in somewhere in China there is somebody which have lived 179 years, but we have to check if it's true or not. But for the moment, officially, it's 122 years. Now, can we do better? Certainly, yes. Why we can do better? And I want you to remind these 4 letters. NBIC. The NBIC technology. What is that? Is biotechnology, which are the genes, is ITs, is nanotechnology, and is what we call cognitive science, science of the brain. Now, put all that together and we can live 1,000 years. I'm not saying to you that myself, I'm just repeating what most of the top scientists are saying. What they are saying today is here. Inside this crowd, one of your children or your grandchildren will live 1,000 years. 1,000 years. The biggest scientist in this field is named Aubrey de Grey in Cambridge University in UK. Has created a foundation. Very big foundation with a lot of finance from the owner of PayPal, for instance, who put a lot of $1 million inside. You know the name of this foundation? Do you know?
Singularity?
Methuselah.
Matusalem. Methuselah. Why? Why? 979 years. That is the story. Methuselah lived 979 years. He is the oldest man in the mythology. So that's why he created a foundation called Methuselah, because he's convinced that we will live very soon 1,000 years. This is good news. That's why I asked my wife if she wants a kid. So this is important to understand that these four technologies are not alone. They are converging all together. And the convergence of these four technologies will give an explosion to longevity. You see, the first one is IT. IT today is exploding, you know, in terms of power, in terms of memory. You see, today we can have a machine which doing 15 billion of operation per second. 15 billion of operation per second. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we need a building to do that. In terms of capacity, you see, 1,000 billion of operation per second. And if in terms of power, you see the power today until the zettabyte. Now we need that. We need that to explore one very important function of our body, which is the brain. In order to analyze the data of the brain, we need this power, which is coming. This power is coming very soon. So all that is converging for medical IT, medical technology in computer. See, for instance, the first sequence of DNA, which has Nobel Prize for that, it cost, for doing one person, it's cost $3 billion to do it. Very soon after, it costs only 100 million. Today, you can have your DNA sequence for $100. For $100, you can have your entire DNA sequence today. Now, what happened is that we have now millions and millions of database of people to do their sequence of DNA. Why it is important? We are supposed to have all of us the same DNA. But there is some small details, very small, which make the difference between you and me. And these small details, we are analyzing it to see, sometimes it's physiological, means you have green eyes, black eyes, or whatever, but sometimes you have a genetic disease, or you have a tendency to have a heart attack. And that's why we are analyzing millions of data in order to do what we call a preventive medicine, a personalized medicine. And that will change the life of everybody. This is why it is very important to have high technology in IT in order to combine that with medical information. You know, with that, what we call science fiction will become reality medicine today. And it's not a joke, it's not the future, it's today. Nanotechnology, the second part of NBIC. Now, with nanotechnology, we are entering in a new area that you cannot believe what will happen. In non-medicine and medicine. Nanotechnology is the use of nanometers, which means that we are going directly inside the matter. We are going inside the cells. We can treat directly inside a cell. What means that? We can have what we call nano-robot. Today, we have nano-robot which can enter in a cell and give a personalized treatment molecule by molecule. They can repair, they can treat one by one every cell. Of course, you will need a lot of nanorobots, but these can do that. You see? they can enter today. It means not tomorrow. We have in the University of UCLA, they have even a nanocopter, which means helicopter, which can go from cells to cells, and he's entirely computerized. He have a job to do, very specific job, and he will do it. It's still under experimentation today, but very soon, and you see the consequence immediately. What are the consequences of the nanorobot? Personalized, targeted cancer therapy, for instance. Today, if you have the radiotherapy or chemotherapy, it will hit maybe the cancer, but it will hit other cells. Today, with a nanorobot, you can put the chemotherapy inside, which will go in these cells and not another one. And this is possible today. So again, you know, we are not in science fiction. We are in science today. We can do implant. Now today we can give to people who are deaf, yeah, we can put implant inside. We are now doing implant of people who are blind. It's done here in Israel with nanorobot. Now we come to something which is extremely important and will bring us to a field which can be very sensitive. Now we come to what we call artificial intelligence. Scientists are studying now how to mimic brain. Now, the brain have 100 billions of cells, but that's not a big problem to imitate 100 billion cells. What is very difficult is to mimic the plasticity of the brain, which means the power of deciding, the power of choosing. You may have communication and it's easy to mimic that, but how to mimic the power of decision? And it's coming. It's coming. Because of the data which we are accumulating. It's called cognitive science. You see, with the nanorobot inside also the brain, you can treat a lot of diseases. And now biotechnology. The biotechnology basically are working for DNA sequence and robotic. Means what you see surgery without surgery. It's done today. You know that you can computerize a surgery procedure from here to 1,000 kilometers to people who doesn't know how to do. It's done today. What you can do also, you can have, you know, prostheses, what we call, you know, artificial hands, artificial knee, everything. You can have that. You can have also in the brain. So, what we come with all that is what we call a regenerative medicine, where we can repair or replace everything in the body. We are not still in the immortality, but for the moment, what we try is to save time. To save our body for in 30 years to have a new Nobel Prize, we'll find something more, to wait 30 years more, 30 years more, and so on. Because now it's exponential. The results are coming. There is a law called the Moore law, which say that every 18 months, the progress will be more than the 2,000 years. Every 18 months today. So regenerative medicine is basically the use of stem cells. With the stem cells, we can repair almost everything today. How we do that? Until now, we have some difficulty in terms of ethics to use what we call embryonic stem cells. Because with embryonic stem cells, it's almost, you can clone somebody. So it is not authorized. And we can use only adult stem cells, which is doing all the time. But Nobel Prize recently, 2 years ago, Japanese and American received a Nobel Prize because what they did, they take any cells, for instance, a skin cell, and with a genetically modified, they change it to an embryonic stem cells. Now, you take a cells, you change it in embryonic stem cells, which means that you can do whatever you want with these cells. It can become a brain cells, it can become whatever you want. But then there is no ethical problem here because you don't need to have a fetus for that. You just take a cells from your body. And that's what we call, it's called induced pluripotent stem cells. That's what it's called now. And that's what we use, most of the people use to do a lot of things. What a lot of things are, doing every cell that we can. We want, you see, this is from cartilage, from the articulation, the joint. In fact, this is all the potential that we can do today with stem cells. So we have plenty of things today which can increase our longevity in good health. The problem for that is that what we are doing first, the good thing is the medicine will change completely. Today, you go to see the doctor and he will try to find a treatment for you for an existing disease. And this is the job of doctors today. Not for a long time. Very soon, the doctor will predict that something will happen to you and will prevent it from happening if you wish to. And this is very important. Predictive medicine. Second things, it will be a personalized medicine. It will not be, we have a procedure for all cancers. We have a procedure for infectious disease, which will be antibiotic. No. For everyone, your treatment will be personalized very soon, thanks to the enormous database that we are accumulating today. So, personalized medicine, predictive medicine, preventive medicine, participatory medicine means you are part of the treatment. And of course, integrative medicine, which means that all the medicine will be together. There will not be anymore a neurosurgeon, a cardiologist or whatever. It will all be together. The problem will be that we are building what we call hybrid human being. Hybrid will mean that very soon men will have some implants in the brain and will be able to be connected to a computer. Now, by doing that, he will become what we call a Superman. Now, this is not tomorrow. This is today. The problem that we have with that is who is going to win tomorrow? The man or the computer? Very soon, the woman or the computer, but for sure it will be the woman in this case. The computer very soon will have the same capacity and ability that the brain. And believe me, this is frightening. This is frightening. Why? Because you can see this type of advertisements very soon. It's a joke. Warning. Due to a shortage of robots, workers here are human beings and may react unpredictably if abused. Now, this is a joke for the moment. I just want to let you think about immortality. Immortality is at the corner of the street. I'm not saying that we will be immortal. I think we don't need to be immortal. But I hope that our longevity will increase drastically. Thank you very much. Now, that was for the dreams. Let's go back to Earth now. Let's talk about genetics. And of course, jeunesse is inside these big pictures of longevity. What do we, are we food supplement? No. Are we anti-aging? Not really. What do we are? We are what we call Generation Young. And as I told you, Generation Young is a new generation of people in which the age, the chronological age, doesn't matter. Very soon everybody will be like that. The chronological age is not important. What is important is our biological age. This is the most important part, and this is why we have to fight and we have to go through biological, how to have our cells healthy. This is the goal of all the scientists, and in jeunesse we are following this pattern. Now, we are not doctors, we are not a hospital, we are a commercial company, and the product that we have are in this pattern, but they are not used to treat any disease for that. They are used to improve our health. Just key point to understand aging, and I'm going to go fast because you already know what I'm going to talk about. There is three reasons to age today. One is DNA damage, which is every day. We have 1 million times DNA damage. The problem is not how to avoid DNA damage, but how fast can we repair DNA damage, and that's what we are trying to do with jeunesse. The second thing is our pool of stem cells. As you know, we need stem cells every day to replace our cells which are dying every day. So we need a pool of fresh, healthy stem cells. The stem cells have DNA, they have telomeres, so they are in danger. We have to protect our pool of stem cells in order to multiply or to be able to repair and to replace cells. And the third thing will be the telomere shortening. You all know what means telomeres, yes? Oh. Telomere shortening means that every division, the end of the chromosome will shorten. The end of chromosome is protecting the DNA, and after 50 to 70 division, there is no more protection, then the DNA, the cells start to die. The DNA retard, because it cannot work anymore, because it's not protected. So the goal is how can we stop the shortening of telomeres, or how can we reverse that and lengthen the telomeres, and that's what we have. So the company have provide us, yes, this use enhancement system with basically 3 solutions for 3 problems. You see, we have 3 solutions because we're starting to protect DNA. We want to lengthen the telomeres. And the third one is what? Stem cells. We have to protect our stem cells. And that's what we do with all our products. All our products are targeted in the DNA. Either reserve, which will protect DNA, either the serum, which will provide growth factor, which are coming from stem cells, or Finity, which have telomerase activator, which is an enzyme which lengthens the telomeres. You have seen that with me many times, so I'm not going to go too far on that. You have to know that we have 3 solutions, key point, 3 problems, 3 solutions. Now, even if you do all that, it's not guaranteed that you have increased your longevity, because there is something more that you have to do. And that is up to you. Every one of you, you have to improve your lifestyle. And I want to spend with you 5 minutes on that. You see, can longevity be related to what we eat or what we drink? Can we increase longevity with that? Certainly yes. Longevity is in your kitchen. in every kitchen. And now we are coming back to Earth. You see, we were dreaming about immortality. Let's go back to the kitchen and see what you are eating in order to get 10 years more, 15 years more. In good health. In good health. So yes, part of longevity secret is right in your kitchen. Now, does food and food supplement will affect the genes? Because everything is how you can activate or put a gene at rest. You know, in life, you know, things is about activating or putting at rest. It's what we call homeostasis. It's a balance between activating and resting. Activating, and for the genes it's the same. We have 25 to 30,000 genes. They never work together. Only 10% are working permanently. The other one will be wake up or will sleep, depending of our need. So this harmony of how to make a gene sleeping and how to make a gene activated, this is the secret of life. It's called homeostasis. And we have to have what we call, you know, interrupter. You push the button to open or you push the button to close. Switch. Thank you. So this is, the switch is the smartest part of our body. And the example for telomerase. We have telomerase in all our cells, but the telomerase is sleeping. How to activate telomerase? We find an herb, astragalus roots, which can activate telomerase. But in our spermatozoid and ovula, telomerase is always activated. This is life. This is the secret of life. Now, you want to activate longevity genes. You take resveratrol, which will increase or activate one gene called sirtuin. When you activate sirtuin, suddenly you have better longevity. So everything is inside. Activating, putting at rest. And this is the most important. Can we do that with the food? Certainly yes. It's called genomic or nutrigenomic. Now, this is something also very important. Can exercise affect genes activity? Yes. You know, there is plenty of documents showing that exercise will increase telomere length. Can you believe that? If you have a regular physical activity, your telomere will increase, or at least will stop to shorten. Well, this is very good news. On the other side, if you don't do exercise, big trouble. Now, emotion. Does emotion positively or negatively can affect gene expression? Certainly yes. Certainly yes. Stress, permanent stress with increased cortisol. When you increase cortisol, you increase duplication of cells. When you increase duplication in cells, you increase telomere shortening. Because each time that the cell duplicates, the telomere is shortened. So yes, stress is shortening your life. But you should have stress too, because lack of stress will shorten your life too. Attitudes and relationship. Does attitude positively or negatively affect gene activation? Yes, certainly. Avoid toxic relation. Avoid toxic thought. This is attitudes which can affect your life and your longevity. So what we should do? How in jeunesse can we help you? How can we help you do that? So first, you know, what you have to do is to have what we call first a conscious choice. You have to be aware that a lifestyle can help you to live longer in good health. And this is the first thing. That has to go inside your brain every day, and you have to teach your kids the same way. Have a healthy, conscious choice. What you do after that, The first thing is to, after being health conscious, what will happen? You will act accordingly and have a healthy lifestyle. So we will have optimal nutrition. So you will have optimal performance. And now you will become a jeunesse, conscious, healthy lifestyle distributor. So it's easy. It's easy in your mind. It's difficult in attitude, because doing that every day is quite difficult, believe me. Believe me, it's not easy to keep shape every day. But if you have that in mind, this healthy consciousness, I guarantee you, and it will cost you nothing. You will have 10 years to 15 years more. Guarantee, if you do that. To act accordingly. Once you are convinced that healthy lifestyle is going on, it will help you, then you will do it every day. And that will save your life. Absolutely save your life. And that's why jeunesse product and jeunesse behavior, it's a gold mine for you. Thank you very much for the second. Last part. Have you heard about VidaCell, except the people who are in Milan? Yes? No? Okay, let me share with you a secret. You will see. You will be surprised. This is VidaCell. This is a box. What is VidaCell? What is VidaCell? Disappointed? Rice. Rice. VidaCell is rice. So what? So what? Now, why 3 billion people are eating rice for a long time? Must be a reason for that, no? Must be a reason why 3 billion people are eating rice and they have a low rate of cancer. Why there is a university in America who do only rice diet? You go to lose weight, you eat only rice. Why jeunesse is interested in rice? Why not? You know, we are interested, we did reserve. What is reserve? Reserve is an extract of wine or grapes. It's an extract of a vegetable origin or fruit origin. Now we did propectin. What is propectin? Propectin is an extract of apple, of pectin from apple. Why are you using VidaCell rice? We are extracting something from the rice. Of course, you're not eating just the rice. We are going to show you what we do with the rice in order to make this rice a miracle product. Rice have two kind of ingredient inside. The ingredient to bring you energy every day, carbohydrate. But you have also what we call functional ingredient, and many of them. VidaCell or the rice are one special ingredient, one category of ingredient that we call glycoproteins, which is a combination of sugar and protein. Now, what big deal? Sugar and protein? Not any sugar, not any protein, and not any combination. You know, life is very simple, but very complicated at the same time. It's a very special combination of sugar and protein called glycoprotein. Now, the problem is how to extract this glycoprotein from the rice. And on that, we had the help of the Ministry of Health in Thailand, because we are extracting this glycoprotein in Thailand. We are using rice from the Siam Valley in Thailand. Why? Because this valley have 100,000 years of organic accumulation plus thousands of years of spirulina, which is an algae, a seaweed, accumulation in this valley. And this is why the rice of this valley is extremely special. This is why we are using that. But we're not just using that. What we do, there's approximately 2,000, I think, to 3,000 strain in the rice. So what we did, or what Jonas did, they selected 3 strain from these 3,000. Only 3 very specific strain. It's brown, short, and fragrant rice flour. What they did with that, they cross-pollinating it, means they put them together in order to create a special species, you know? Because we cannot do that with men, with cloning, but we can do that with rice. So we cross-pollinating the strain of rice, and what we do, you know, then when we do that, we extract the glycoprotein from inside. You see, inside the rice, here, you have the glycoprotein molecules, and that's where we extracted them. And then, from 100 kilo of that, we get 100 kilo of glycoproteins. But not only that, yeah, 1 kilo. From 100 kilo, we get 1 kilo. Now, this glycoprotein has to be small enough to be digested and to cross the barrier. So we have again, you know, to do a fine milling, coming almost to the nanometer side. You see? What we call it alpha size. So once we do that, the product is ready. Not only that, again, so we do that with a very special water process which will break down the molecule in order to be digested and go easily in the cells. Now, this is what we have, a powder, a very fine powder, which is entirely natural, organic this time. Organic means no preservative, nothing, no gluten, no whey, no sugar, no chemical, no filler, no binder, no additive, no preservative, and GMO, of course. It's no modified, not genetically modified. Pure, not genetically modified. So, what for? Now that we have this glycoprotein, what we do with that? We have 3 major actions with these glycoproteins. It's work for the energy in the mitochondria. It will help cells communication, and it will detox the body. 3 major actions. The first action, as I told you, is to increase energy. Where? In the powerhouse of the body. Where is the powerhouse in the body? In the mitochondria. Where is the mitochondria? First, before to tell you how we get to the mitochondria. You know, how we do from food to nutriment. When we eat food, whatever food it is, including rice, we have inside carbohydrate, fat, protein, vitamins, minerals and all that, and they are entering in the body, then they are breaking down in the stomach or in the intestine in different nutrients. This is why an apple that you see doesn't look like, but they have a lot of different ingredients which will be breaking down. So when it's breaking down, it will cross the digestive system, go to the blood, and then will arrive in the cells in simple nutrients. In the cells, this nutrient will go to a very special part of the cells called the mitochondria. The mitochondria is what is our power cells, the battery of manufacturing energy. You see, this is a mitochondria. We have 2,500 like that in one cell. Each one is a battery. How the battery work? When the protein, the sugar, the fat, and the oxygen come inside, these ingredients are transformed in energy. What is the energy in the body? The energy is called ATP. Have you heard about ATP? This is the form of energy in our body. You know, in the car it will be the gas, the oil. In our body is ATP. how it's breaking down. For instance, that is an example. One molecule of sugar, of glucose, will generate 38 ATP, which is energy. So how ATP is converted in energy in order for me to move or to think? You see, ATP is standing for A for adenosine, which is a protein, T for 3, and P for phosphate. Now, when you have a match, you see a match and you open a match, you light a match. What happens? You have a flame. The flame is done by the phosphorus part, the phosphor of the match. Same in the body. When ATP wants to give energy, it will give ADP, which means it will release one phosphorus. And each time that you release one phosphorus, you can do one step. Let's say one step or two steps. This is the energy, the real physical energy. ATP give ADP, and so on. And then reverse all the time. You see, tac, 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 good. ADP is transformed on ATP because the nutrient will give back, and so on. It's like a machine, like, you know, the engine, exactly the same, but with ATP. And this is how we get energy. We need energy for everything. If we don't have that, within a second, we will die. You see? Now, Vital Cell is improving the production of ATP in the mitochondria. It has been proven. So when you get this glycoprotein, it's a facilitator of this reaction, bringing ATP and going to ADP and ATP. So not only that, but Vital Cell is rejuvenating mitochondria. Now, what I forget to tell you when I was doing my training about DNA in the cells, that DNA, you remember I told you, it's in the nucleus of the cells. You remember that? It's not exactly true. It is in the nucleus, but we have another DNA which is in the mitochondria. Here, you see, here we have a special DNA, not the same one that in the cells. In the nucleus have 25,000 genes. Inside, we have only 27 genes. Now, the good things for you is this is transmitted only by the mother, not by the father. Don't ask me why. I don't know. Now, very few scientists know. I think it's still a secret. Why? Why DNA from the mitochondria is only transmitted by the mother? And by the way, when the mother have a disease of the mitochondria, it's transmitted by the mother, not by the father. And this is a negative part of that too. But anyway, here, you know, what we have to do many times is to rejuvenate mitochondria, become old. For instance, we know that when we get older, the numbers of mitochondria is going from 2,500 to maybe 100 to 200, and then big problem. So what we try to do is to rejuvenate mitochondria, and Vital Cell can contribute to that. Why? Also, you know, mitochondria have DNA, and if you have DNA, DNA is sensitive to oxidation, but much more than the nucleus. Mitochondria is extremely sensitive to oxidation. Now, you have to know that every reaction in the mitochondria, if you want to transform anything, it will create free radicals. This is normal life, but we have antioxidants for that. But sometimes we don't have enough. Then the antioxidant part of the Vital Cell will help to fight the mitochondria DNA damage. So Vital Cell promotes mitochondrial DNA repair and maintenance, and this is one of the great features of Vital Cell. Now, Vital Cell helps to promote communication. You remember I told you many times that cells are communicating between them, like computers are communicating, like dolphins are communicating, like plants are communicating. Every cell is communicating by special wavelengths. You see, or special molecules. So problem, and it's quite complicated, because in order to communicate it, first you have to ask permission. Because all around the cells you have receptors. And the receptors has to accept your message before opening the door for the message. And this is called signaling. This is a very, very important part of life. So, yes, once it communicated, 2 minutes. Once it's communicated, the message is entering, and then we can do, and there is many things to do. Without communication, it's impossible to transfer an order. For instance, the most important order that you have to do to say to a cell is, cells, you have to die. It's apoptosis, it's called. So we have to send a message inside in order for the cell to self-suicide if it started to be cancerous, for instance, or if the telomere are too short. So yes, signaling is very important, especially for the brain. And by the cell, by the glycoprotein part, is improving cells' communication. The third thing is promote detoxification process. Now, what are the detoxification process? Cleansing, eliminating, filtering, reversing. But where is the most important part? In the liver. The liver is the most important chemical manufacturing for detoxifying. And you don't have to read all that, but in the liver what happens is the toxin arrive and they finish by water-soluble waste. And in all that, you have one thing very, very important, which is this word, glutathione, which is a super antioxidant. The master of the antioxidant, natural one, the one which we have in the body. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to give. There is companies which are selling glutathione, but it's not stable. The best way to get glutathione is to increase production of glutathione inside the liver. And that's what we are doing. We are helping the body to increase glutathione protection or production. And that's what VidaCell do. So, in terms of, now that I explain you all that, what will be the health benefit very quickly? First, of course, because it's increased energy, it will increase athletic performance. It will increase memory and focus. It will, of course, increase physical energy. You will see that if you take 1 or 2 a day, you will see that. It will act as an anti-inflammatory. It will be an antioxidant and increase glutathione production. You can use it also to have, low-calorie diet as long as you take vitamin and supplement with that. And it will help you, and that we have data on that. We have clinical data saying that it will help cholesterol level, yes. And of course, by rejuvenating mitochondria, it will help you to increase your longevity. So how to use it? You can take once a day, you can take 2 a day, you mix it with water, or you just put the powder on the food. You can do that. If you don't want to put it in the water, you can just put it like salt or pepper. You do that. You see, conclusion now. You finish that. You remember glycoprotein, 3 major health benefits. Increasing ATP, energy, increasing cells communication, and improving detoxification. And I think I have come to the limit. My name is William Amzallag, and I am Generation Young. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, William, for this. Just a few minutes more. It was a great presentation. Thank you, William. So we made a change. Yeah, that's it. William, this is for you.
תודה רבה.